It's always fun to see something a little bit different at European boat shows, and behind me here is exactly that. This is the new Invincible 33. Now, Invincible are a US brand. They're very well known, very well respected over there. They've got sport fishing genes. They were originally designed as serious offshore sports fishers, and they've evolved into a kind of hybrid sports fisher slash leisure boat, but really, really capable hulls. Now, initially they were all monohull designs, and some of those were adopted by the US Navy for their own use, but then they also decided to move into power catamarans. But what they wanted was a power catamaran that gave all the performance and efficiency and soft ride and stability of a power cat, but without some of the quirkier aspects, if you like, which means that they tend to ride very flat. Even when you're cornering hard, they don't lean into a corner, so you sometimes feel like you're going to be thrown out the side. They also have a tendency to spit out the front sometimes when you hit a wave. If the wave hits the bridge deck, then you get quite an uncomfortable, jittery ride. So what they've tried to do is create the best of both worlds. And they've done that by using a semi-asymmetric hull design. So if you look carefully down here, you can see that the dead rise is slightly different on both sides, and the height of the chine, so it's slightly higher on the outside, slightly lower on the inside, and the spray rails. And that enables the boat to lean into the turn a bit. And thanks to this extra baffle down here, that is designed to split any waves that do get through, so that you don't get that slap if you hit a wave that's tall enough to hit the bridge deck. It disperses it and it stops it. Sneezing, they call it, actually, when it sneezes water out the front. So hopefully it should avoid that. But what you do get is the extra lift of a catamaran. So because this is quite a narrow tunnel, it funnels air down there, pressurizes the air, and actually creates lift. So that's what gives it extra efficiency, as well as a really soft, comfortable ride. Now, it's also a serious high-performance machine. So this is equipped with a pair of 400 horsepower Mercury Verados, and that will give it some really strong performance. This should do about 65 miles an hour, so 58 knots or thereabouts, really quick. But also, when you ease it back a bit, you get really efficient running. So this should do about 1.5 nautical miles per US gallon. And because of the size of the fuel tanks, that means you get a range of up to 500 nautical miles. Really, it's designed to go out there to get you to your fishing grounds quickly, safely, and comfortably, and get you back just as fast. Now, prices start at around 500,000 US dollars ex-taxes. This particular one, including tax, fully delivered to here in Palma, Mallorca, is about 680,000 euros. So let's jump on board, have a good look round, and explain more about what makes it quite so unique and quite such an unusual offering, particularly over here in Europe. You can see there's a ladder in there. Not sure it will come out, it pops out, but you can see there's a bathing ladder in that platform there. And what I like about this boat is that it's very high quality, but it's no frills. It's designed to be a complete hose-down boat. So there's no overly fancy, fussy detailing. It's all very nice, high-quality gel coat, but not too much teak or too many stainless steel elements. And you can literally hose it down. And that is because it is designed first and foremost as a sports fishing boat. A lot of people use it as a leisure boat, but it's designed for sports fishing. So there's a really solid, chunky transom gate. So once you're on board, you're all safely enclosed. Got a nice high cockpit conings, bulwarks, gunnels, whatever you want to call them, on both sides. So you feel really well protected. And then all the fishing kit you need. So this is a live bait well, so you can keep your bait alive in there when you go big game fishing. And if you look under this deck panel here, I'll explain a little bit more about how that works. So here we've got a sea chest, so that is under the water line, and that is always full of water. And then high capacity pumps will circulate that water. You can see bait well 1, bait well 2. So you always get oxygenated seawater in those bait wells to keep your fish alive and cool. Big aft-facing seat here. This has all been left without any seats because this is where you'll be trying to reel in your fish from. But you've got a big aft-facing bench here, and under this there's a massive chilled locker. So this does have a chilling unit here. This will actually keep the whole area cool, but it's all obviously fully insulated. But I like the fact that there's no messing around with lifting up cushions or separate locker lids. You literally just lift up the seat cushions and your beers, your cold waters, whatever, right under there. Now under here we've got more bait well space and access to the bilges. So this is the Reverso automatic outboard flushing system. And the way that works is that once you've been running out at sea, you want to flush through the engines, you literally just put the freshwater hose in that socket there, press the button, and that will automatically flush the engines to make sure it gets rid of all the salt inside the engines. You don't need to have the engines running. It will literally just circulate fresh water through them. Press the button once, 15 minutes, job done. Under here, we've got, I think, the bait well 2. So that again is another bait well just under the deck rather than above deck, so you can keep more bait down there. And then moving forward, see these really nice thick gunnels, lots and lots of rod holders, cup holders, pop-up cleats, more cup holders, and everywhere you look there's freshwater hoses or saltwater. This is a saltwater hose by the looks of things, but all along here there's coiled hoses, so wherever you are, if you do get a bit of fish blood or scales on boat, you can just flush them straight off. We've got tackle boxes on either side, cutting board if you want to make sushi as you go, lots of drawer space, and it all feels really solid, really no nonsense, very sturdy. Obviously big sound system, JL audio speakers, and then a very nicely protected center console helm station. Now you can see we've got special ridge deflectors. These Perspex deflectors help deflect the wind, make sure that all 3 seats are kept nicely out of the breeze, because really if you're running along at best part of 60 knots, you don't want to be taking that in the face. Very classic central steering position. One of these one-handed steering knobs, so you literally just put your hand on that. You can quite imagine, in fact, kicking back here, probably even steer that with your feet in the States. I'm guessing you just chill out. Very cool. Big Garmin 18-inch screens, Fusion sound system, Mercury throttles, and the Skyhook joystick. So this obviously helps when you're coming in to a berth. You can put it exactly where you want it, but it also acts as an autopilot. If you want to just move 1 degree to starboard, you just give it a little nudge. If you want to move 10 degrees to starboard, give it a twist. And you've got the Skyhook facility, so it's like a virtual anchor system that will link up with the GPS and hold you in place, even if there is a current running or tides or winds. Press that button and you can then get on and put out the fenders, knowing that you're not going to drift into trouble. Electric windlass control for the anchor, so you can raise and lower the anchor from here. And then all the lights here, we've got all the cockpit lights, spreader lights, nav lights, bilge light, all around this boat. There's lots and lots of LED lighting. Little glass area here, this provides more protection. That's the main windscreen forward, and a nice bit of extra retainer here so that you can put things on here and know they're not going to slip off when you're roaring along at 50 knots. Now I've got catch lockers all along the decks here, so if you do manage to catch a few fish, you've got plenty of space. Again, they're all draining lockers. You can see a little drain in the corner there. They're all insulated as well, so you can chuck a load of ice down there and keep your catch fresh. Countless rod holders everywhere you look. Look how many there are lined up along there. Grab rails wherever you look. And then, because of that catamaran design, this is really where you feel the benefit of that extra beam forward. Because rather than a sharp tapering beam, you've got a nice squared off bow area, gives room for lots of extra seating up here. Lovely laid back chaise longue sun pads, armrests on either side and central. And also, if I can do this one-handed, if we lift that up, really good storage locker there. So that's sort of big enough to keep your inflatable SUPs. Probably put a life raft in there if you want. You could certainly chuck a load of gear and life jackets, more fishing stuff if you need to. Love the fact that this has got gas support, ram supports to take the weight off. 3 really sturdy hinges. Bit of separation, so if you want to put 2 different layers on there, it can be a wet locker, a dry locker, drain plugs as you can see. Really sturdy feeling, robust boat. This bench is removable if you want to take that out. Gives access to the anchor locker under there. There's also access from up here. And again, because of that squared off bow area, there's lots of extra storage space here. You can chuck your fenders and lines in there. Got access to the anchor locker in there. All nicely, neatly molded out, painted out. Drop down cleat up there, so again you don't have to stub your toes, but because it's so wide and flat it's very easy to step up here, walk around, do your lines. More catch lockers all down these side decks, exactly the same, all insulated, all draining. More rod holders, and while we're up here, let me just take you up here. Check out that for a floodlight system. Look at all those LED bulbs. You're going to light up the entire bay with that. You can see there's also a track here for storing. There is a bimini cover that can be put across this whole deck area. There you go. I think that's the bimini there. That is the tarpaulin. More speakers, and again, hoses everywhere you look. This is a freshwater hose, so you've got the option of using fresh water or salt water. And then as you come back on this side, there is access to a relatively small heads compartment, so you have to duck down to get in here, and obviously this is because this is in the middle of the boat over the bridge deck, so you haven't got the depth that you might have in a monohull. But I can crawl in there. You can see that actually once you're through there, there is plenty of headroom in here. It's a nice bit of lighting, and there's also really good access to the back of all the helm sort of electronic system. I might need to use 2 hands for that, but you can see something is beeping away in there. But really nice to be able to get to the back of all this kit quite so easily. Got batteries in there, got the breaker switches, electronics. Really nice to have such easy access to all of them. That's obviously switch gear, turning everything on. And more deck lockers here. You can see there's another one here. I won't bother opening that. And all of these are all bolster seats, and there is more storage under there. I might just need to twist those, drop down, but you can see that is the refrigeration system, keeping everything cool. More batteries in there. Really good access to absolutely everything you need to get to. Deck drains everywhere you look, so if you do take some water on board or need to hose anything down, it all just runs out. So really very practical, no-nonsense kind of boat. And I'm told the hulls are absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we'll get a chance to experience that for ourselves with a sea trial at some point. But I have to say, from what I've seen here, that looks pretty exciting to me. So I'm going to park myself up in the bow, wrap it up as usual by asking for you to make a few comments. Let us know what you make of this boat. Would you go for a Powercat? Do you prefer a monohull? Or do you think this looks like a pretty perfect combination of both? I've got to say, I think it's a really intriguing offering. I like the fact that it's no nonsense, it's so easy to clean, and yet also really solidly constructed. So thank you very much for watching this. I hope you've enjoyed seeing something a little bit different. Do please let us know what you think, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video.